So let's welcome Gabby.
Okay, so my name is Gabriella Hogg, aka Amazing Awesome Gabby or Autism Girl. So I'm here basically as a dream team leader from the Sir Peter Black Trust. So today I'm here to talk about my dreams and how I made them a reality. So I started off in this world as someone who people looked down upon, and no one really thought I would become anywhere or anything in this world. But I have shattered the stereotypes down of what society think of people like myself with neurodiverse needs. Have you ever had these words spoken of your life, or something similar? Retard, stupid, spastic, and so on. Well, for such a long time, people and peers did speak this over my life. I was seriously an underachiever in the so-called education system that is supposedly regarded by the Minister of Education as inclusive. But wow, does my story shatter down the thoughts of the government on this, but not in such a bad way, but in so many ways how the education system failed me, but how I found my strengths by outside people of the education system believing in what abilities I did show. So the education system classed me as unreachable and unteachable as far back as primary school years, but this is so far from the truth today. Usually my speech comprises of my passion for the autism sector of New Zealand, and educating people about how not to treat people with autism and so forth. But today, I'm here as an inspirational leader in New Zealand, and perhaps even in Australia as well as perhaps the world, if I'm so lucky, however so far away from being classed as an inspirational leader in the world. However, I did not set out to be an inspirational leader. I just set out to change people's perspectives on individuals with neurodiverse needs. I don't even actually class myself as an inspirational leader. But this is another topic for another day. You'll understand this better at the end of my speech. Okay, so even if I have had adverse events in my life, I have still come very far in my life, and to society they do have a lot of respect and honour for me, but in so many ways it may be difficult for individuals to understand or to even make sense of. So even though I was classed as unreachable, unteachable, and so many other things in my life, I chose for this to not define my life. I started to surround myself with positive influences in my life post-secondary schooling, and I soon had a lot of people in my life that believed in who I guess I was supposed to be and who I am becoming today. So today, I was so upset with how the government was underfunding and not really funding individuals on the autism spectrum that I decided to apply a few years ago to get onto the New Zealand Autism Expert Advisor Group at the tender age of 21. Well, I got on, and I guess I was the youngest member on there, and did I get the shock of my life, learning about all the policies and meetings that are behind some of the specific policies to do with autism today. Sadly, we lost the funding for the specific advisory group during the recession, which was a sad day for the sector. However, I plotted on in other areas, including writing letters to government officials. And then Disabled Person Assembly choosing me to go on youth training to understand more about the United Nations Conventions of the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, which wasn't written until 2008, and the human rights and so forth. It was one intense, fun weekend out of 1 year, but I learned so much in that time and networked during that time as well, and made forever life connections. Then I got asked to be a kaitui for DPA, which I gladly stepped up the challenge for this. I'm like one of 20 kaitui in New Zealand. This was like one intense year of learning all about in more depth of the United Nations Conventions of the Rights of Persons with Disabilities and so forth as well, as meeting some awesome people in the disability sector that I would be calling leaders in New Zealand. And then I was chosen by Autism New Zealand, especially by the CEO, to be an advocate on the Ministry of Health, Disability Support Services Consumer Consortium. I was on there for a year before I stepped down from the role, when I was selected after I applied to be on the Hawke's Bay Consumer Council. And yeah, guess what? I guess I got on and was on there up until the beginning of last year before I resigned for better things in my life in Auckland. Then just last year, I was selected to go on the B Leadership Program, a leadership program for promising leaders in New Zealand. That was totally awesome, but it wasn't awesome losing a friend on the program that sadly passed away, but I guess life plotted on because she would have wanted this for us. Now, all my advocating for all the autism sector paid off when on April the 2nd last year, Suddenly the government announced that all people with autism spectrum disorders, including Asperger's syndrome, but now known as autistic spectrum disorders according to the manual that diagnoses us, was now eligible for Ministry of Health Disability Support Services funded regardless of whether there was a coexisting intellectual disability as well or not. I guess I was overjoyed and jumped up and down for the autism sector of New Zealand. However, still far from perfect, but a lot better than where we were in New Zealand. This opened up a lot of stuff for individuals with ASD and their families. However, to get there, the people that are looked up in the disability sector that are leaders in New Zealand are Paul Gibson, Disability Human Rights Commissioner, Matt Frost, who works for the Office for Disability Issues, Robert Martin, he has written a book about the horror story of Kimberley Institution that was located in Levin and that was only shut down in 2009. And there are so many that have influenced me in New Zealand that I would be here forever listing them all. And what if I told you that all those people that I have listed above all live with some form of disability? Paul Gibson, he has a visual impairment. Matt Frost, he's on the autism spectrum. And Robert Martin has an intellectual disability and advocates for it to be called a learning disability. And when I tell you this, I too have a disability, or an impairment as I like to call it. I have an autism spectrum difference. Yes, that's right, I sure do, and loads of other subsets of impairments that comes with the challenges and triumphs of living with autism. Yep, I just call it autism. I hate the names of high functioning or low functioning. What if I told you that at times I experience being completely non-verbal? What if I told you that the government funds me essentially full-time support each week at 35 hours? What if I told you I really didn't have the NCEA credits to enter into university? What if I told you that university was considering turning me away because I also have a historical diagnosis of a learning disability? What if I told you that officially I am one of those 1% autistics that are savants? What if I told you it's a double disadvantage to be both a woman and disabled? Now let's turn this around. Hello, I am Gabby. I am a leader in the disability sector in New Zealand, and I do not refer to myself as an inspirational leader because this is a form of being an inspirational form, which is probably a new concept for all you here, but this essentially means that society like to get positive vibes of publishing stories of those with disabilities achieving stuff when nobody thought we could achieve it. So they're essentially doing it to build up non-disabled individuals' self-esteem. So essentially it's a glorification for themselves. Hopefully I have given you an example to dream big in your life, no matter what adverse needs or neurodiverse needs you have. Yep, if you have a different wiring system in your brain, we refer this to neurodiversity to build on acceptance of diversity. It's okay to be different. As one of my awesome authors and fellow autistic presenters in the world of autism, Temple Grandin says, different but not less. We are different but not less than what you are. We just learn and develop and respond in different ways, and this is totally okay and fine by me. Welcome to the world of possibilities. I can do it, and so can you.